here. I'm really looking forward to the NANOG. The agenda looks great. I want to open it up, say welcome, and turn it over to the various people who are going to speak to you this morning. I did want everyone to take notice of the hosts, Merit and Arbor, and we'll have some words from those folks in a second. But we want to thank them for helping us put this all together, and I wanted to thank all of you for coming out and supporting the NANOG crew out here. So with that, welcome to NANOG 47, and Betty has something to say.
Good morning, everyone. And again, as Dave indicated, I just wanted to extend a thank you from Merit to our CEO, Dan Welch, for allowing Merit to be part of actually hosting the organization, NANOG, and hosting this meeting. So, Dan, just a little gift of our appreciation. This is the traditional host award. It was a little unique to put this together. But generally, it is Merit thanking a host, and this is the NANOG support team at Merit thanking Merit.
Thanks, buddy.
We also couldn't have done this meeting without our co-host. Lisa Quimby has done a tremendous amount of work in putting together the other parts of the hosting responsibility, and this is truly a recognition of Merit to Arbor Networks for their partnership. So, Farnam and Lisa.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And again, it is with great pleasure that we're able to host the meeting. The other thing that I would like to do, if anyone would like to see the home base for Arbor Networks in Ann Arbor, or make a trip over to Merit's home base and see our data center and some of our facilities, contact me. I'd love to make a tour available and get you guys over to Ann Arbor. It's about 30 minutes from here.
So now we're going to have a few words from our hosts. So, Don Welch.
Yeah, here we go. No problem. Okay, thanks everyone. So, in this strange position, like I asked Betty just before we came up, do I give the award to myself? Because I usually give the thank you. But anyway, so we are hosting, but we also normally do NANOG logistics. And so I just want to take a few minutes, as I usually do. I usually take a few minutes in the fall meeting to talk a little bit about Merit and what's going on. And just many of you might wonder, why does Merit do this? What's the connection? So just very quickly, Merit, we've been around since 1966. We've been doing this networking thing for a while, but one of the things that we did in our early history, as we were a research network that dabbled in production, is we had won, along with some others, the NSFNet contract. And part of that, of taking the NSFNet and then helping to foster internet working, was the creation of NANOG. So it's really historical precedent that we have been the hosts of NANOG, and as the internet has evolved, the industry has evolved, and Merit is involved, we've still stayed involved with NANOG, and we provide the logistics for NANOG. And it works pretty well. We're a nonprofit. We serve primarily the research and education community. And so in some sense we can be somewhat of a neutral ground because, as you know, many of you are aware of, not everybody is really comfortable coming and sharing all their secrets with their competitors. But we create this neutral ground, and we also know a little bit about networking, so it's a good combination. I think it's worked very well. over the years. So as I said, we primarily provide networking to the education community, libraries, and so forth. And states have similar types of organizations to do the same thing. We're a hybrid network. We're mostly fiber-based. Where we can't afford to invest in fiber, we do circuits, and we provide layer 3 and additional network services on top of that. Like many people, we've got our hand out waiting for money from the ARRA grants. So with luck, we'll fill in a lot more of our network with fiber if we're successful. As I said, like many of you, we find out that networking alone is not exactly what our membership wants, so we provide additional services up the stack. And I'll just very quickly finish up. This is the way the network is working today. Hopefully it's working well for you. We've got an AT&T circuit that AT&T has graciously provided to get back to our headquarters in Ann Arbor, and then you ride our fiber backbone out to Chicago and off on to other places out in the world. So I hope you have a great NANOG. I hope Beer and Gear is a little less messy than this photo. And thank you for being here. It's really great to have you all in Michigan, and it's great to be a host of NANOG. Farnam.
Thank you very much, Don. Good morning. I'm Farnam Jahanian. I'm co-founder of Arbor Networks and also chair of Computer Science and Engineering Department here at the University of Michigan. On behalf of my colleagues at Arbor Networks, it's my pleasure to welcome all of you to NANOG 47. And a special thanks to our co-sponsors, Don Welch and his crew at Merit. As many of you probably know this, that the underlying technologies from Arbor Networks came out of some of our research at the University of Michigan with some of you folks in the audience. And in fact, Merit played a very unique role in the early days. It played an instrumental role, I should say, in the proof of concept deployment of the technology in the very early days of Arbor Networks. We're happy to be able to co-sponsor this event again with Merit. In a couple of minutes that I have, I just wanted to share a few thoughts with you about some of the challenges and opportunities ahead. I'm a college professor, so if you were hoping for a sales pitch, you're not going to get it. Thank you. But more seriously, we've seen a breathtaking pace of advancement that's has brought computing and communications into the forefront of business, science, medicine, arts, entertainment, you name it. In many ways, this was not even imaginable 10, 15 years ago. The explosive growth of data, wireless connectivity at broadband speeds, and connecting potentially billions of devices, and seamless access to services and applications in the cloud are transforming the way we work, the way we conduct business, the way we learn, the way we play, educate students, communicate, and collaborate. There's no doubt that information technology will integrate more deeply into society. And as this picture probably shows, that's my telephone in 1988, we'll see proliferation of new ways and new applications for communication, collaboration, and sharing. And this proliferation, of course, will continue. What I think is truly exciting is that networking and communication, the business that all of us are in, will continue to be at the center of an ongoing societal transformation, perhaps for many decades to come. Of course, these advances are going to bring some enormous challenges, and I'm going to highlight a couple of them. First and foremost, traffic is growing rapidly on fixed and mobile networks. And the data is there. IP traffic is expected again to double every 2 years for the next couple of years at least. Video internet will drive much of this growth. I just recently read, actually a couple of days ago, that just in August alone, more than 161 million viewers watched an average of 157 videos I think my teenage sons were definitely 2 of those, per viewers during the month of August. And Google alone was estimated to have served more than 10 billion videos during that month, during the 30-day period. The other challenge, which is closer to my heart, has to do with security threats that clog the bandwidth of your networks and increase cost. There's plenty of data out there that supports the fact that significant amount of internet traffic these days is malicious. And attacks have grown rapidly over the last decade, and botnets are, of course, everywhere. And I don't need to tell this group, pricing for data is fixed or dropping. And of course, competition and regulation pose significant additional constraints. Craig Lavovitz, in just a few minutes, is going to say a few words about, is going to give a presentation about some exciting new research that Craig and some of the colleagues at Arbor and University of Michigan and Meyer have done on evolution of internet traffic. So let me address something unrelated to that, having to do mostly with the evolution of security threats. So let me focus on that for a couple of minutes. Over the last decades, the threats to the availability and security of internet has undergone a rapid and dramatic evolution. A few short years ago, we witnessed the emergence of highly visible attacks against the internet users' infrastructures, including massive denial of service attacks and highly virulent internet worms. What I want to highlight is that this transformation that's taking place. Initially what we saw, this was the era of look at me attacks. Primary motivation for these attackers was bragging rights. Worms and viruses were simply intended to impact the availability of the underlying infrastructure. I refer to these as availability attacks. And they impacted network access, services, and often reputation of content providers and service providers. What's happened over the last few years is that we're finding ourselves in the middle of a fundamental shift from what I refer to as availability attacks on the infrastructure to coordinated attacks that are launched from malicious distributed delivery platforms. Let's call those botnets, of course. The malware that we see propagates, takes control of hosts, enables command and control infrastructure, and delivery platform for various kinds of malicious activities. These coordinated attacks, of course, launched from everywhere, and harvest resources of compromised hosts. They have been fueling a rapid increase in spam, phishing, identity theft, you name it. And there's no question that distributed attacks are going to increase in size and sophistication, targeting specific applications, including layer 7. And we're also seeing proliferation of attacks that's spurred by financial gains and political motives, including examples that you've seen in Estonia, Georgia, and so on. So what's ahead in 2009, 2010, and beyond? There's no question that security challenges, the future security challenges, will follow adoption of internet. Profit motives, of course, are here to stay. Politically motivated attacks, DOS attacks especially, are going to be here forever. Cyber networks, seems to me, are the new frontiers for counterintelligence. Botnets will continue to dominate how attacks are launched, and of course, as a result of proliferation of botnets, attribution will be increasingly difficult. And as I mentioned, we should expect that future security challenges will follow internet adoption patterns. Proliferation of wireless devices and social media platforms are going to open new avenues for the attackers and bring evolving security challenges. And of course, as all of us talk about cloud, protecting the cloud infrastructure is going to be key to long-term adoption of the new cloud model. So I want to leave you on one message. Probably what's most important here is that collaboration is going to be needed more than ever before. NANOG, with its long history of over the past couple of decades, is a terrific example of collaborative nature of the work that this community does and the collaboration that's taken place over the last 2 decades. We're going to need cooperation and information sharing between private and public sector, among internet service providers, and between governments, and that's going to be critical to the success of running the internet in the future. Cyber world, there's no question, is going to be increasingly important to economic prosperity and national security. And I can tell you that it's never been more exciting time to be in this business. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you guys.